You're talking about Charlie Kirk. So for you, do you remember where you were when you heard the news that Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
I was walking to my office. I was literally walking to my office, and the same person that I just mentioned a second ago, Kim, came running up to me. She goes, "Charlie was just shot." And it literally, for me, it was deja vu to Butler, right? I mean, it was like I was watching that exact same TV at the exact same time, watching, the same thing almost happened to somebody I love dearly, and I love Charlie dearly. I mean, Charlie was a dear friend. I was on the stage with him all the time, and he was, he's an amazing person. In fact, I was just speaking to Erica last night. But no, listen, they want to take away our voice. That was our whole plan, guys. I mean, if you take away the voice, the movement doesn't continue to happen. What actually happened was the exact opposite of that. They thought they could cut the head off of kind of the tiger, but the tiger actually got bigger, and it got stronger, and it got louder, and it went from being a movement of youth in this country to being a movement of everybody all around the world who saw them for not being the tolerant people that they had always claimed to be, saw them for actually being incredibly intolerant, as we've seen over and over and over again. They didn't want me on that stage. You think they want you on that stage? They don't want you on that stage. They don't want any independent voice that can't be controlled using big corporate kind of, they don't want us out there because they can't control you, and they can't control me, and they can't control any of you guys. Right? And that's why they take the shots. They call us fascists, yet they dress in black. And they stand on roofs with sniper rifles and shoot over the heads of college kids who are out there, talking about the greatness of America. We're the fascists? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
How do you process today when you're hearing the online narrative, right? Where people are sitting there saying, what happened here? Who took him out? All these questions, the shot, you're somebody that's gone hunting before. This doesn't look like an entry wound. It looks like a exit wound where it's we've all seen the clip that we don't want to see. How do you process it yourself? We're wanting to get to the bottom of it. Do you think Tyler was the shooter?
Listen, here's what I can tell you. I know Dan Bongino. I've known Dan Bongino for 20 years. And man, is he a good American, right? And a guy who does not put up with nonsense, right? Like, I've known Cash for a very long time. I've been on the same stage as Cash 1,000 times, and Cash has a heart of gold, and he's a good American, and he does not put up with nonsense, right? It's very different than last, administration where every single person in the administration was some DEI pick, right? You had Pete Buttigieg, who would, run a small town. All of a sudden, he happened to be transportation secretary, and during COVID, when none of the ships are coming into our ports and there's no 2x4 at Home Depot, guess what the guy does? He takes paternity leave, right? Like that's not this administration. It's the exact opposite of who these people are. And so I think I'd be asking probably a lot of questions if I didn't know the individuals at the tip of the spear incredibly well and have tremendous faith. There's a lot of questions that people are asking. There's no question about it. But
what are the right questions?
Those guys are the greatest people you'll ever meet, and I'm telling you, if there is funny business, they'll get to the bottom of it, and they'll be honest and transparent about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's the funny part of it. But do you this is what people are saying? I'm curious how you process it because you probably watch what the market is saying. So the other day we're just doing a regular podcast, and then I'm asking the guys a question. I said, so how long did it take for them to, make sure the site's protected so nobody can come in? You can study things. You can see what's going on. Just a couple days. And you go look at some of the other sites that took place in the past, whether it was an assassination, different events, boom. 1 month, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, some of them. So there's a part of it where like, this was very quick. And we didn't, then you hear the school that's doing construction on that site. Everybody online is asking what happened here. Do you yourself, I know you're on the inside, you're part of the family. Do you sit there and say, I'm actually curious to know what happened here?
What's kind of interesting about life is a lot of the conspiracy theories, right? And they've labeled all of us conspiracy theorists, and then so oftentimes they come true, right? How often through the course did we say something was bogus, and then all of a sudden we were fringe right, and and all of a sudden it worked. I mean, COVID was the greatest example of that. My father went out and said, "Hey, maybe hydroxychloroquine works." How dare you? How dare you? He's a radical. He doesn't know anything about medicine. Then sure enough, hydroxychloroquine works, right? There's 1,000 of those that, I think the greatest thing about us as a party is we're willing to question, and we're willing to do so pretty viciously, and we've been proven right about a lot of things. Again, knowing the corruption of the other side, I would be asking a hell of a lot more questions if I didn't know the people involved, because I'm telling you, Bongino will not lie to the American people, and I'm telling you, Patel will not lie to the American people. And the other thing I'll tell you, Cash was like best friends with Charlie. He knew Charlie extremely well. He knew Charlie as well as I knew Charlie. And you better believe if there was something off there, he will get to the bottom of it out of respect for a friend who took a bullet to the neck.
To a lot of people, there's something fishy going on. And I'm the least conspiratorial person. I'm like, it was the trans-loving kid on the roof, right? Oh, maybe not. There was a what? The second shooter? It didn't sound like you were entirely comfortable with the results or the final decision of what happened with your father in Butler. It doesn't sound like you're even 100% comfortable with that decision. What makes you think that we're going to be comfortable with the Charlie Kirk decision?
Yeah, well, first of all, the incident with my father happened under Joe Biden. You had a director, you had Kimberly Cheadle, does everybody remember her, who was an absolute DEI, incompetent human being who said that the roof was so sloped that, the counter sniper teams, and I know these guys, I shoot with them, I've shot with them a lot, I know a bunch of the guys there, some of the guys over there are good friends of mine, was too steep. Yeah, her. I mean, show the roof, show the Butler roof.
It was like this.
She testified to Congress that the roof was, too steep to climb over. I mean, it was all BS, guys. So
yeah,
right?
There it is.
And then by the way, you had these like old congressmen and senators who were walking up and down that roof like it was absolutely nothing. Like, my 47-pound daughter could scale that roof without even thinking about it, and and ride her bike on that roof. And so I think there's a difference between that administration and the trust I had for that administration versus the trust I have for this administration. I mean, this is just an administration that spent their 4 years weaponizing government against absolutely everything, right? So, and then the fact that they couldn't get into the guy's phone, give me a break, So I think there's a big difference. I think there's a really big difference
because of who's there. So for me, what it makes me think about is, let's say Cash is somebody that a lot of people trust. Let's just say, okay, but he's the guy that came in. Fine, he's going to be doing the things. But FBI's got 38,000 employees. And those 38,000 employees, the last four, it's not like Trump was 448 combined, so there's momentum being built, and you're getting rid of people. So yes, Cash is at the top, Bongino's at the top, but those 38,000, how many of the 38,000 are for what you're for, what we're for? So somebody can sit there and say, look, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, you've ran an operation for a long time. When we were sitting down, that you were telling me about how many people that knew you when you were 12 years old, 10 years old. Now you're there, and they respect the fact that you were working with them. Your dad would always bring you on the work side. So you're running a company. You've earned moral authority, right? They've seen how hard you're working, and they're comfortable you going in there. Now imagine if all of a sudden I come in, and there's a big falling out, and we bring a different CEO who can't stand you and your family. Let's just say they buy the company. I'm just making it up. And most of the employees that are there, they're like, who the hell is this guy? We like him. So to a lot of people that are questioning things, they may say, well, look, I get Cash, I get Bongino, yes, but what makes us think everybody in there is going to want to get to the bottom of this? Can we trust everybody? I think that's what a lot of people are questioning.
Yeah, listen, I think they clearly need to publish a report. I mean, I think there's a lot of good questions that have been answered, right, without going down a rabbit hole of conspiracy, because that's not at all my intention at all. And again, I truly trust the people at the top of that. But, where was the rifle when you jumped off the roof, right? I mean, that's a good question. I'm a very big shooter. I mean, Mausers typically aren't chambered. They're not chambered on 30-06, right? They're normally chambered in 8mm Mauser. Most of the time, 30-06 is in a stripper clips, right? All of a sudden, they show a picture of a stripper clip with. I mean, you could geek out on a lot of things that didn't feel and seem right. There could be answers to all those things that I'm not aware of. Again, all I know is I trust Bongino wholeheartedly. Has he been on the show with you?
He has, yeah.
He's a good man.
I wouldn't mind talking to Cash, by the way. If you talk to Cash, if Cash is open, I'd love to have a conversation with Cash.
Cash is a good man. So listen, I truly do believe that they'll get to the bottom of it. And I think the other thing is out of respect for their mutual friend, because Charlie was everybody. I mean, I was watching this press conference as Cash was up there almost crying, knowing Charlie as well as he did. You want to talk about all worlds coming together as one? Like, these were all your friends. Like, Charlie was my friend who was killed. Cash was up there with my friend who's now investigating and trying to get to the bottom of his friend that was killed. We were all in this fight together, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Cash was one of those people that never left our side. You asked the question before, like, who is a person who was there and never left in 2020, 2021 when times got bad? Cash. You know who else? Bongino. And so, no, I trust that those guys are going to do a great job with this.
Last question on this before we move on. Hunter, does that look like an entry wound?
Guys, it's a high caliber rifle to the neck, right? I mean, I think you hear a lot of people, he was an expert marksman. No, he's not. It's 200-yard shot with a high power rifle, scoped rifle. Anybody who's capable of shooting is going to be practically touching bullets at that range, and no one's shooting for the right side of the neck. That's just the honest. But But what he did was horrific. I mean, that's obviously all it took. And we lost a great man that day. I lost a great friend that day. And, you know, the nation lost a person who, man, did he make transformational change. And,
He's one of a kind.
yeah, I remember him coming into Trump work. This was 10 years ago. And he sat down at a conference table with me, right? And he goes, I am literally going to change the student body of every college in this country. I'm going to stack them with conservatives. We are going to. And you're sitting there as a guy who does real estate projects. We hear of some BS every single day, and you're saying, this is pretty lofty. Yeah, I mean, you're going to change the hearts and minds of, you know, the youth of the United States. And he was hell-bent on doing it. And man, did this guy accomplish exactly what he told me 10 years ago he was going to accomplish. He was an amazing person. And I think Erica, she's a rock. I think she's going to do a hell of a job.
And we agreed. Charlie Kirk was one of a kind. We're at the event. I'm on stage. Tony Robbins is up there. First shot takes place where he has no idea what's going on. He's in the middle of his speech. There's nearly 8,000 people. Some of you guys were in the room where that took place. And then all of a sudden I go up. At this point, the report, I don't know if you remember, one of the reports came in that said, there's a pulse, he's going to make it. That was kind of on Twitter, that was going viral. Like, oh my God, this is good. And then Vinny comes and tells, we're like, wait a minute, you got to be kidding me. No. And then we have Tom comes up, gives a prayer. But Charlie was one of one. And a lot of people felt it by how many people show up to the memorial. You got 65,000 people within a week show up. They said nearly a couple 100,000 people came to the city. People are trying to go in. There's 3 hours before the show starts. They're already sending people home. The overflow room is packed. And there was a moment, because everything in that place was very emotional when people are speaking. So we're looking at this book right now. If you're watching this and you're loving the podcast, this will be at the end of every single one of the clips. We would like to see if we can do something. Okay, collect. Thank you so much. I would like you, if you're watching this, to go support Eric Trump. We're going to put the link below. Buy a copy, maybe buy 2, maybe buy 5 and gift it to somebody. It's number 30. Let's, in the next 24 hours, help this book become number 1 on all of Amazon. If you can buy 10, order 10. Let's send a statement. The book comes out October 14th. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.